Why do people believe in the chemtrail conspiracy hoax? Hi and welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that has sparked countless debates, fueled online rabbit holes, and made people look up to the sky with suspicion. Chemtrails. Yes, those white streaks left behind by airplanes. Are they just harmless vapor trails or part of a secret global conspiracy? Spoiler alert, they're just vapor trails. But why then do so many people believe otherwise? Let's break it all down. First, let's get to the heart of the topic. What are those streaks in the sky actually made of? When an airplane flies at high altitudes, the hot exhaust from its engines meets the cold, low-pressure air around it. This causes water vapor to condense, forming those white trails we see in the sky. These are called contrails, short for condensation trails. Contrails are similar to your warm breath becoming visible on a chilly morning. They're simply water droplets or ice crystals, and they eventually evaporate into the air. But here's where the trouble begins. Some people look at those contrails and think they're not just vapor. They believe that planes are secretly spraying chemicals into the atmosphere for reasons ranging from population control to weather manipulation. Hence the name chemtrails. So, where did this idea even come from? The chemtrail conspiracy theory dates back to the 1990s. Around that time, fear about government overreach and secret programs was at a high. Incidents like the declassification of certain military experiments, such as efforts to manipulate weather or test chemicals on populations, added fuel to the fire. In the 1990s, people started noticing contrails lingering a little longer in the sky or spreading out more than they expected. With no scientific explanation readily available to them, rumors started flying. And as we know, the internet was taking off during that period, creating the perfect environment for a small idea to snowball into a widespread belief. Chat rooms and forums amplified the idea, and suddenly, the chemtrail conspiracy was born. Here's the big question. Why do some people believe so deeply in the chemtrail conspiracy, even in the face of overwhelming scientific evidence to the contrary? Well, the answer lies more in psychology than science. Let's talk about confirmation bias. This is a human tendency to seek out evidence that supports what we already believe, while ignoring evidence that challenges it. For someone who's already suspicious of governments or corporations, chemtrails click right into this bias. They might see a long-lasting contrail in the sky and think, look, there it is, proof they're spraying something dangerous. Then there's pattern recognition. Our brains are wired to look for connections between things, even when those connections don't actually exist. So if someone sees an increase in contrails on the same day they have a headache, their brain might create a link. Perhaps those trails cause the headache. It's not logical, but it feels intuitive. And let's not forget the allure of fear and mystery. The idea of sinister forces working in secret can be terrifying, but for some people, it also offers a sense of satisfaction. Instead of feeling powerless, they feel like they've uncovered the truth that others are blind to. It's almost comforting to put the blame for complex problems, like climate change or health issues, on something as simple as lines in the sky. Now let's talk about how this belief spreads so far and fast. The internet is a wonderful tool, but it's also a double-edged sword. Social media platforms, YouTube videos, and blogs have played a huge role in amplifying the chemtrail conspiracy. Think about it. You see a poorly made video captioned with, "The government doesn't want you to know this." You click, and someone seems to be making logical conclusions about those white trails. If you're already suspicious, this evidence might feel convincing, even if it's completely wrong. An echo chamber is another problem. Once someone starts engaging with chemtrail content, algorithms on platforms like YouTube and Facebook are likely to show them more of the same. Over time, this isolates them from outside perspectives, reinforcing their belief. And then there's the misuse of scientific-sounding terms and cherry-picked examples. For instance, some chemtrail believers point to patents for weather modification techniques as proof of a global spraying campaign. But they overlook the fact that patents don't automatically mean a technology is in use, let alone at the scale they're imagining. Okay, let's dissect the main claims and debunk them. First, and most importantly, contrails are just water vapor. Planes aren't spraying chemicals into the atmosphere. Contrails linger for different periods of time depending on the temperature, humidity, and air pressure at the altitude the plane is flying. That's just physics. What about the claim that planes are deliberately altering the weather? This idea likely stems from programs like cloud seeding, a real technique where particles are added to clouds to increase rainfall. While cloud seeding is highly localized and controlled, it's nothing like the global spraying campaigns imagined by chemtrail believers. And And for those who argue that contrails look too thick or too persistent to be natural, there's an explanation for that too. Contrail appearance depends on atmospheric conditions. Some days those water crystals will evaporate quickly, and other days they'll hang around and spread out. It's all perfectly natural. Finally, let's address one of the more common counter-arguments. If it's harmless vapor, why won't the government just admit the truth? Well, they have. Aviation experts and meteorologists have explained this phenomenon repeatedly. The problem isn't a lack of information, it's that some people don't trust the sources providing it. That brings us to a bigger issue: mistrust. Many people lack faith in governments, corporations, or scientific authorities. And honestly, it's not entirely surprising. There have been shady experiments in the past, like the infamous Tuskegee study or Project MKUltra, that make it easy for conspiracy-minded folks to think, if they've done it before, they could do it again. But skepticism can go too far when it leads to rejecting the well-established facts. In the case of chemtrails, mistrust has turned a harmless natural phenomenon into something sinister and threatening. Here's the irony. While the world spends time debating whether chemtrails are real, we're overlooking real environmental concerns. Airplanes do have an impact on the environment, but it's not because they're spraying chemicals. Aviation contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, fueling climate change. Addressing those issues would make a real difference, but chemtrail conspiracies divert attention and resources from real solutions. So, why spend all this time debunking a myth? Can't we just ignore it? Well, no, and here's why. Misinformation can have serious consequences. Belief in the chemtrail conspiracy has led people to mistrust science and even avoid addressing legitimate environmental concerns. When we allow myths to thrive unchecked, they erode public understanding and slow progress. By learning how myths like this form and why people believe them, we become more informed, critical thinkers. And the more critical thinkers we have, the harder it is for misinformation to take root. Let's wrap this up. Chemtrails aren't real. The white streaks in the sky are nothing more than water vapor, transformed into ice crystals by high-altitude conditions. But the reasons why people believe in this conspiracy are deeply human. We crave explanations, we're drawn to mystery, and we don't always trust authorities. By exploring the science behind contrails and the psychology behind conspiracy theories, we can start to separate fact from fiction. Does this mean we have to stop asking questions? Absolutely not. But our questions should come from a place of curiosity, not fear or mistrust. If you found this video insightful, share it with someone who might have questions about chemtrails. Help spread awareness about the science and psychology behind this myth. And remember, staying informed and thinking critically are the best tools we have to navigate a world full of misinformation. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up at the beautiful, harmless contrails in the sky. Please like, subscribe, and share. As always, thanks so much for watching.